Rightio. So, in 2005, Cabelas had released Dangerous Hunts 2, which was the second in their Dangerous Hunt series, which would then be followed up by Dangerous Adventures, Dangerous Hunts 2011, 2013, and they'd be going alongside Big Game Hunter, and so on and so forth. What made Dangerous Hunts 2 stand out for me, in my mind, and why I'm bringing it up today, is because it's the first and probably only Cabelas game where there is Australian hunting levels. And I was super keen to try that out. And of course, I get the game, we start to play it, and already we are alerted to some standard problems. For starters, as you're flying into Australia, you have the didgeridoo playing in the background, because that's pretty standard. Anything to do with Australia, you got to have the didgeridoo playing in the background. Very much the same thing as whenever you've got a Vietnam War era thing happening, you got to have Fortunate Son playing in the background.
But what they don't prepare you for is the incessant use of Fortunate Son. I'd hear that song any time I was in a helicopter.
But that can be ignored because that's just a stereotype that we've just got to put up with. And we'll ignore the fact that the mission is clearly based on dealing with saltwater crocodiles, and as you later find out, you're dealing with scrubbles. So we'll ignore the fact that where you land is somewhere in South Australia, maybe New South Wales border, around there somewhere, because apparently you can find crocodiles and those sorts of things everywhere. But put all that aside, we'll ignore all that. Now, the problem is when you land, you go looking for an Aboriginal tracker. I thought, sweet, you get an Aboriginal tracker, he's obviously pretty good at what he does, but then he speaks.
Wiraki, slow down! It's me, your old pal Reginald Dowling. Remember me?
Yeah. So clearly someone at Activision or Cabelas didn't really do much research on Australia at all, really. They just obviously just went, oh yeah, I know a little bit about that. It's an outback area. Aboriginals live there. Crocodiles are a big thing down there. That's all we need to know. We don't really need to do much research into it. And so obviously they didn't look into the fact that depending on who you ask or who you argue with, there could be 150 or some say 250 or even more Australian Aboriginal languages. And we didn't decide to use any of those. They decided to pick up the funny one from Africa that most people like to pick on. But ignoring that, yes, the design for the scrap ball was a bit in poor taste. And there's a few other problems with it too. Like, for example, like you fall into a cave and you get attacked by dingoes and you got to fight those off for some reason. And yeah, it was that bad. I never went back to play it again. I kind of wanted to go back and play it now just to see if my justification of me thinking it's that bad held up. And I just looked at the YouTube video and just going, oh, I'm pretty confident I thought it was shit. Just based on whoever wrote it, whoever did the work on it, obviously wasn't put much effort into it. The only part of it that was half cool was like as a reward hunt, you got the hunt shuttle. That was probably the only good part about the whole Australian part of it anyway. That's my problem with Cabela's Dangerous Hunts 2. Which is unfortunate because there's all the other games that they've done have been were fun. And lots of fun. Unfortunately, the last one they made was like in 2018 when they made The Hunt for the Switch. And they haven't made another game since. And I don't know why that could be. Like, I don't know why they stopped making games. It's almost as though someone else came along and bought them out and just sort of bloody choked it for some reason. Anyway, on that note, thank you for listening to this weird ramble that I've gone on. It's a new thing I'm trying out with putting content up and just talking about hunting in different subjects and different forms. I'm still working it out, like in gaming or people or pop culture, or however you want to look at it. It's just hunting is my special subject. If I'm confirmed to have some sort of tism, then hunting is my special subject, and that's what I've elected. So if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, do all the whatever the things are you're meant to do for these sorts of things. And yeah, if you have, I have a few ideas on future videos that I want to do, but if you've got ideas you want to send my way and look into, then I'll be happy to give it a go. But yes, until then, catch you next time.